Good morning, dear students. Yesterday we have learned about agricultural practices, and we have seen that there are 7 agricultural practices, and out of those 7 we have learned about 3, that is preparation of soil, sowing and improving soil fertility. So today we learn the next 4 agricultural practices, that is irrigation, protection from weeds, harvesting and storage. So the learning objectives for today's section are the 4 agricultural practices along with organic farming and animal husbandry. We know that water is essential for the survival and proper development of crop plants. It helps in the absorption of nutrients by them, but different crops have different water requirements. For example, a rice crop needs more water than a wheat crop. So the crops must be supplied with water as per their need and at appropriate time intervals. So the supply of water to the crops at appropriate intervals of time for cultivation is called irrigation. Now it reduces the dependence on rainfall and it uses the sources like canals, tube wells, etc. Now why water is needed? Why irrigation of crops is needed? Why? Because water helps in the germination of seeds. Plants use water for the production of food through the process of photosynthesis. Water is absorbed by the plant roots. Minerals and nutrients, fertilizers, etc. they are also absorbed. Water helps in the transportation of nutrients within the plant body to the various parts of the plant. Now there are different methods of irrigation. Some are traditional method and some are modern method. So first we'll see the traditional methods of irrigation. Here you can see in the picture also, there are 4 pictures. They are of Dhekli, chain pump, pulley system and lever system. So in the ancient time, the traditional methods used for irrigation were that water is drawn from various sources, either manually or with the help of cattle. This water is then taken to the fields for irrigating the crops. In the example, as I read earlier, it is the Dhekli, chain pump, pulley system and lever system. These are the examples of traditional methods of irrigation. Nowadays, modern methods of irrigation are followed and they are more economical than the traditional ones. Water wastage is minimized in these modern system of irrigation. The first system or the first method is the sprinkler system. Sprinkler. Here you can see in the picture, it seems like a fountain. In this system, water is supplied to the field with the help of a pipe which is fitted with a rotating nozzle at the top. Here the water is sprayed on the standing crop as artificial rain. You can see from the picture also. It is an economical method of irrigation for the crops grown in sandy soil. The other system is drip system, drip irrigation. And do you remember we have learned about drip irrigation in our last class. In this system, it is also known as trickle irrigation, and in this method of irrigation, water drips slowly to the roots of plants through a network of pipes and tubing. Tubes and pipes are present near the plants. There is no wastage of water and no danger of fertilizer runoff in this method. Why? Because the water is getting directly to the roots, near the roots. It is best suited for watering fruit plants, gardens and trees, and is useful in areas where there is scarcity of water. The next step is weeding or protection from weeds. Now, what are weeds? Weeds are unwanted plants that grow with the crops. And since they are unwanted, they need to be removed. And their removal is called weeding. So it is necessary to remove the weeds because they compete with the crop plants for water, nutrients, for space and for light. Some of them may be poisonous too, and therefore they are needed to be removed. So the process of removing the weeds is called weeding. It is done by three methods. First one is manual weeding, then mechanical weeding, and then using chemicals. In manual weeding, as the name indicates, the weeds are removed using hands, like you can see in the first picture. In mechanical weeding, weeding is done with the help of trowel, or in common language you call it as khurpi or a harrow. In chemical weeding, certain chemicals are used to remove the weeds, and these chemicals are called weedicides. For example, the most common weedicide is 2,4-D. The weedicides are not sprayed directly on the plants or on the field. They are diluted with water before being sprayed in the field, as you can see from the picture. They are harmful to health, and therefore the person who is spraying the weedicides on the field should take certain precautions, like he should properly cover his body, and especially the sensitive parts like the eyes, mouth and nose. He should properly clean his body after spraying. The next step of agricultural practices is harvesting and storage. And these are the last steps. Harvesting refers to the cutting of the crop after it matures. It is done by cutting the crop close to the ground or by pulling them out. They can be done by hand or with the help of a machine which is called harvester. It is there in the picture. After harvesting, the grains are separated from the cut crop, and the process by which it is done is called threshing. Now, threshing can be done again manually or by using a machine which is called thresher. After threshing, the grains obtained contain lots of chaff or husk with them. Chaff is a scaly structure which is inedible, and they need to be removed from the grains. And the process of removing chaff from the grains with the help of wind is called winnowing. What is done in winnowing is the grains are thrown from a height. As you can see from the picture, man is standing and is holding the grains at a certain height, and the grains are thrown from the height in the direction of the wind. The wind carries away the lighter chaff and the heavier grains drop down to form heap. Now, after harvesting, threshing and winnowing, the clean grains are obtained. Now they are needed to be stored properly. So, their storage in a proper manner is required. But the freshly harvested grains contain moisture, And the presence of moisture may promote the growth of microorganisms like fungi, bacteria, etc. Or it can attract insects, rats, etc. So the grains should be dried properly to reduce the moisture content. Before storage, they should be dried properly. And after drying, the grains should be stored in a cool, dry and clean place. Small farmers store their grains in jute bags or metal containers. As you can see in the picture, lots of grains are present. They are stored in a room or hall, and certain jute bags are also there in which some amount of grains are being packed and stored. They often mix neem leaves with the grains to keep away the pests. On large scale, the storage of grains is done in large granaries. For the protection of grains from the pests and microorganisms, pesticides are sprayed before storage. So we have seen all the 7 agricultural practices, and I hope that you have learned something from them. Now we'll see what is organic farming. You must have heard this term, organic farming. Organic farming is a form of agriculture which uses only organic inputs for supplying nutrients, and it avoids the use of synthetic or chemical pesticides and fertilizers. It relies on crop rotation, green manure, compost, biological pest control, and mechanical cultivation to maintain soil productivity and control pests. It does not harm the natural environment. It ensures the production of food crops free from chemical residue. And nowadays, it is becoming popular in the world, since it is harmless to the crop as well as to the field and soil. Now comes animal husbandry. We know that animals are very useful to us. We get milk, eggs, meat, wool, leather, etc. different products from animals. Many farmers depend on animals for food and their livelihood also. They raise animals at home or on farms. They earn their living by selling the products obtained from these animals. There are animals like cows, goats, buffaloes, etc. which provide us or give us milk. So they are called milch animals. And from the milk, other dairy products are also obtained. Then other category of animals are meat and egg yielding animals like hens, turkeys, geese, etc. And from them meat is also obtained. Then honeybees. We know honey is obtained from honeybees, and the rearing of honeybees for honey is another category or a special culture which is called apiculture. In addition, the animals help the farmers in various tasks like plowing the field, transportation, etc. So it is needed that they should be reared with good food, shelter and proper care. So the practice of breeding and raising domestic or farm animals for food and other needs is called animal husbandry. Now that's all for our first chapter, and I hope that you have learned many new things in this chapter. If you are having any query, please feel free to ask, but that too during the given time, which is there in the given guidelines. And please read the chapter thoroughly. Tomorrow I will give you the definitions of the new and difficult words from the chapter. Thank you.